So now we come to what you all came to hear about today. If you haven't got a copy of the report that's being distributed that outlines the lessons learned, maybe if you just want to quickly raise your hands, I know a few people came in a little bit late, if we could maybe just pass out those reports to those few people that just put up their hands. Sorry, hands again? Just the one, yep. Any others? Okay, great, thank you. So the research has involved 3 trial projects over about 2 years, and what's been great is that all 3 have been successful. Of course they were research, so we were quite prepared that we might find that some of these things didn't work, but they all did work, which was great, and detailed reports on each one of these projects are available. They're available from the Downloads tab of the EPSP website or from my website. Overall, the findings suggest strong potential for mobile phones to affect positive change in Papua New Guinea, especially in rural areas, which I think is what we're most excited about. How can we help in service delivery out to rural areas? So I'm now going to be outlining the lessons learned from those 3 concurrent projects. I hope this should be useful for all sectors and for various organisations that are here today. And if you wish to follow along, if you're the sort of person that likes to read while someone's talking, you can follow along in the report. Otherwise, of course, I'll have slides here as well. So the first lesson learned out of the projects is that people do own or have access to mobile phones. All 3 projects found that people, particularly rural-based workers with whom we were working in these projects, do have access to and own mobile phones. In the Childbirth Emergency Phone Project, we visited rural health workers and aid post orderlies throughout Milne Bay Province, and most of those people had and used mobile phones. Obviously, there are unfortunately some health centres still which don't have mobile phone coverage, but even so, many of those health workers owned mobile phones and they could then use them when they paddled out in a canoe or travelled to somewhere where they could access mobile phone coverage. In the law and justice sector, all 39 participating clerks owned or had access to a mobile phone. There was one other clerk who was approached who was unable to participate in the project because he didn't have a mobile phone. So we had, let's say, 39 out of 40 people who had mobile phones in that case. In the SMS Story project, which is the project in the education sector, the teachers in elementary schools in rural areas do own and have access to mobile phones, as we found in the study. 92% of the teachers in the study owned mobile phones, and that was out of over 100 teachers approached in many various places in 2 provinces. So we know that people, particularly rural-based workers, do own or have access to mobile phones. Lesson number 2 is that voice calls and text messaging, or SMS, does work. They both do work in the PNG context. It's not difficult for a start. It's not technically difficult to be able to send a message, receive a message, make a phone call or receive a phone call. Even someone who's illiterate can be shown, all you need to do is press the green button. If a call comes in, press the green button and you can talk to your relative who's trying to phone you. We know that some people in the village, if they want to make a call, will ask someone else, can you please dial the number for me or look up the contact for me, and then they can talk. So being able to talk on the phone, being able to make calls and receive phone calls is technically not that difficult. Even someone with very limited functional literacy and technical literacy can do that. We also know that sending and receiving text messages is not too hard, and people are able to do that compared to the technical requirements that you would need if you wanted to operate a laptop or do some more advanced things. So people are able to do it. Also, another big advantage with both voice calls and text messaging is that they can be done on any phone. You don't have to be having a particular type of phone to be able to do these things like with some other things. You don't need a Java-enabled phone with a form on it. You don't need a smartphone in which you have to download an application, but you can do these things with any phone in the world. You can make and send text messages and make and receive phone calls.